I'm Davor Anicic. I'm from Croatia, from Zagreb. I guess this is. So yeah, that's us. We are Railbit AI. We are a small AI agency. Plus, we work in the area of online marketplaces since 2015, as we originated from Styria, which is actually one of the regional publishers that co-owns Willhaben with Adevinta Group and some other marketplaces. So in a way, we are in this field for a very long time and in the AI field for a very long time. We do a lot of things connected to images, to text. We custom train neural networks. We love to take hard cases from clients and bring them all the way to the production. At this point, we are 8 experts and 4 co-founders. These are the marketplaces that are our clients, so mostly European, all European, and mostly regional in our southeastern part of the Europe. Mostly horizontals, that's also what I wanted to emphasize. So one of the AI use cases that we delivered and it works in production is faster ads posting based on image, where we take just few frames from a video, so you don't even have to take an image, and then we backend connect to the classified and give you the average price of the something you want to sell. And that's useful for getting clients or potential sellers to post things in the classifieds, in general classifieds. So we do that image-based, and after you further go with your process of posting, then we also additionally analyze your title that you started to write in, and we can give you the appropriate category, and we optimize things to minimize additional number of clicks, so we do some additional tweakings after the machine learning models to actually put the client in the perfect position to find the appropriate category. Visual search is something we are very much proud of, so we launched that back in 2016 on Willhaben. That was the first visual search, so pure neural network visual search ever on any marketplaces in the world. We even got NVIDIA GTC award in 2017 for that. And it still operates, of course, a bit upgraded and modified, but general model and the idea is the same. You can now try on Willhaben app or on Willhaben app or on their web. So that's what we did, the real use cases in several years. These are convolutional neural networks behind this. And now we are doing a lot of things on a custom research side. So this is for Creative Fabrica. They're a niche marketplace that only operates with graphical contents and with small things being sold there by designers. So here, if you want to make new image from 2 images, you use one as a contextual part, the other as a, in a way, visual part, and then you connect them. And that's what generative AI nowadays can do. So for that, we usually take some open source generative AI available models, transformer-based. Then we use some open source data sets and the client data sets, and then we train them. That's how we do it. Last summer, when the Stability AI open sourced their big large language model for images, Stable Diffusion, we noticed this, and within a month, we said to the client, "Oh, do you want this? This is new. This is great stuff." And it was in a production within a month for their users, for their subscribers. They can use Stable Diffusion. Recent project also for the same client, but also very interesting to show, is actually augmenting missing characters to the fonts. So they're a marketplace with more than 5,000 Latinic fonts being sold at each time. And the problem is that the designer that made the font will do it for its own language. If he's from France, he'll have special characters used in France. He will never have special characters used in Croatia or anywhere else. And we did augment the whole 5,000 fonts with all special characters and other, like dots and monkeys and other special characters that were not produced for all of them. And for some, it's really perfect. For some, not that good, of course, because some of these fonts don't look like fonts, but like some kind of cartoons. But it was a really fun project. And also, it's now in the production. So in a way, we were lucky with our choice of technology. We went into the transformer space very early. We were using convolutional neural networks first from 2015 to 2018. And then when the transformer architecture came, we were in one NLP project, so text-based project on BERT. And after that, we started using I wouldn't say all, but a lot of different anything that could be found open source and commercially applied architecture, and that's why we can discuss about it. So now I'm going to go a bit different. I'll try to explain you some basic principles of AI that I think anyone should understand. So that's the idea. So even if you don't have any idea about any technical stuff behind it. So what does large language model, or generative AI is one of the applications of large language model, do? It just predicts the next word. So on a basic level, that's just a statistical tool. But what turns out to be the truth is that if you want to understand, if you want to have the best prediction of the next word, you have to understand wider context. And I'll give you the example. If I tell you Miami is capital of Florida, that's a correct answer. And if I tell you Miami is beautiful city, again, it's a correct answer. Depending on a wider context, you will want one or the other. And it turned out that large language models and our languages as structures offer this capacity to this neural network to really learn and to understand some higher level concepts. Then, another technique came that was here for a long time, but now it became very, I would say, efficient with neural networks. Reinforcement learning. So here, an example. That's the way how you want to teach your kid. You tell a little toddler, this is a cat and this is a dog. And then, okay, tries to remember. Next day, you come and the kid says, this is cat. And you say, no, this is dog. And then the kid is not happy. It's in a shock because he understands your emotional reaction. And then in his brain, parts of his neural network will try to see differences in these two animals, in how they, I don't know, bark or meow or whatever voice they produce, how they look. And slowly, this neural network in his part of neural network will adapt. And this is called reinforcement learning. With the same method, you want to teach kid to behave. And you do that. You say, this is nice behavior, and you tell him that he's doing something stupid or dangerous. And that's alignment research. So what we do with neural networks is exactly this with reinforcement learning. We teach neural networks how to behave, and we teach them the nuances between complex objects and everything. We never, ever told them all the details that are different between dog and cat, neither to the kid. So that's the concept. It's easy to understand. Yeah. So next, what I want to tell you is that neural networks are simple. So basic infrastructure of transformers is just 2,000 lines of code. And then you have a really big amount of them, and you stack them in a certain way, and then you get the terabytes of data through it, and then it becomes powerful, and it understands nuances. So here I used, this was actually image produced by Bing, and I told Bing, just old woman driving cab in Miami in 1935. And you can understand from an image that it understood the concept of old woman, the concept of Miami back in that age, the concept of cars back in that age. So there are pretty complex contexts that it understood. I tried to find the same on the web, but I couldn't. Probably there weren't so many old women with a photo taken of them at the time, driving a cab. Yeah. So the next concept is chat. So it's a language interface. So as developers, I was once at a time, but yeah, everyone who developed, I mean, development is nice, but you have to learn a new language, and it's not natural to you. So you want a big adoption rate, as it was now with ChatGPT, then it has to work in plain English. And that's it. It works not only in plain English, in plain any language. That's even better. So yeah, that's something that really changed the whole thing and why it's now being adopted that fast. And the last thing I want to tell you is inevitability. So in a way, when we started developing mathematics, physics, electronics, software, this point of technical development is inevitable. The missing part was that we didn't have digitalized our lives and our content and our language. Now we have it. All that put together, you get an AI. And of course, because you can't undo all these things, it's here to stay. It's here to stay and change how we work and how we live. And at one point, it will be smarter than us. I will not bet when. We'll see. But it's a different kind of intelligence, but in some ways, it does bring something new. So for instance, on a number of parameters, it's 100 times less than our brain and can remember much more things. So backpropagation as one of the methods obviously is more efficient in remembering facts than our own algorithm that we don't know how to call or what it is. It's not backpropagation, it's something else. So now I'll go to the other side. I'll try to give you some use cases. And you heard a lot of them in the last 3 days. I couldn't believe myself how much the AI was teamed here, and I agree. Let's not finish. Let's the last panel not mention AI, because an AI is a tool. It's a technical tool, and yes, you will do all the stuff, but you need to think about business. That's the primary thing. So, okay, what I see are several use cases. I'll just fastly go through them. So, internal use cases. You want maybe to use LLMs as interface to the knowledge base, to internal knowledge base, or maybe even once as whole knowledge base for some use cases. We'll see how this develops on technical level. Why you need that? Because if you're in a bigger company, you do know that nobody reads manuals, nobody reads developers' documentation, I mean, people can't read as much as they should. They should work something. So you want fast way to organize and to access this data. And that's best with LLMs and chat as an interface. So you want to do that. You have to have at one point conversational AI as a customer service. I will not explain it. It's so obvious. Yeah, it's efficient. Not complete way, but some things will be automated, and they are. Fraud prevention, definitely. But remember, it's an arms race. The same technology will be used to generate fraud, and you will have to implement the other one to stop the fraud. And it's inevitable. Then, of course, don't forget data analytics. So Microsoft started with this Copilot thing, and within the Power BI ecosystem, I see really a lot of AI being now just fastly deployed. And don't forget to enable your analysts to use it. Of course, the same is for your developers. If they are not still using GitHub Copilot or any other ecosystem, they should. And for marketing, maybe you want ChatGPT to write your posts. That's efficient. But then you have to read them and see, are you proving that, as you should with all the content someone produces. Okay, next thing is AI for buyers. I agree with things being said first day. It's the biggest risk for all the marketplaces that this entrance in a funnel, in a sales funnel, will not be yours anymore. We'll see. I guess AI will be developed both from the side of marketplaces, both from the side of third parties, and both from the side of big players. Big players, big five, will probably try to make AI concierge. So the one that knows about you, that's your personal assistant, that actually does everything for you online. That's one possibility. I'm sure that Facebook also, everyone will try to do it, from the big guys. It's the question, can it be done at this point efficiently? Because you have to remember, you know what ads are live and not at what point. And they have to be crawled, and then they have to be put in a model and displayed to the client. It takes some time. So maybe that won't be that easy as it looks now. It also all goes to the personalized recommendations and such stuff. Conversational interface is future of search. And talking with someone really helps you, like you come in a store and you explain the guy what exactly you want in fast conversations, forth and back, and you get what you want. It will be the same, only maybe the guy is not that good as an AI, so that was the problem now. So now I'm sure that will become very, very, and then imagine images also. You can send an image and get an image. It will be the future. There is this new technological intermediary between you and your clients on this top of a funnel, so we'll see. I even know about one price negotiation chatbot that's being deployed from guys from Serbia, but they don't say it's chatbot, but clients don't notice, and they actually negotiate price of the real estate in the US being lowered like 10% by the chatbot. And it's actually just ChatGPT with some prompting. So they didn't put a lot of effort in it. And it works. That's how they say. I didn't try it. Chat plugins, that's also an important part I want to share with you. So yes, ChatGPT it's a technology, it's not a tool. But then you add and you integrate it with tool, with Shopify is a platform of e-commerce. And then when you connect ChatGPT's power with this platform, you can get really good searches of products already within the Shopify ecosystem. And there are some other use cases. So I really think this will be fastly deployed across the space. Then AI for sellers. So photo enhancement is what we all do. Just remember, there was a discussion what is real and what is not. Even when you take a photo with your Samsung or iPhone, it's being AI upgraded already. So even that is not the reality. So it's just the question of how much of non-reality we have. Who decides what are IP rights? I will not go into this because I could talk ages. But here I made this photo and I said, OK, can you explain it? And it explained it perfectly, although it added that there is a table in the middle and some chairs, although there isn't. Yes, this is hallucination. This is the model still not. But these models are not actually developed for this use case. They're more general. With a good development, I'm sure this will be solved quite fast. We heard about AI evaluation suggestions. I will not go into that. And generally, one more use case I want you to think of is actually transforming your unstructured text and images data into structured data for your use. This is so either you tag images or text or contextually, you can use ChatGPT for that, and you can then have another model or your BI structured database that will analyze the data that was put out of the images and text. So those are things that can be fastly deployed. Dynamic pricing, also one of the ideas that we heard of, and I will not talk about them. And then the use case, I mentioned it before, but I want to mention it again. I think this is the primary use case that everybody should think of. So you need enterprise data, you need to think about your internal data, and you need to deploy it, like Bloomberg said, they are now using big LLMs for internal knowledge database and use internally. Of course, it's your proprietary data. You have to take care of the security things. Things can leak out very easily, so they're risky. Once you put things in the LLM, it can be easily copied. Not easy, but it can be done. So you have to be careful how to do things, and you have to know to trust someone. You will probably put it somewhere in the cloud. But then it's your dedicated cloud, either from NVIDIA, AWS, or someone else. I would never put all my data in just prompting the ChatGPT, and then it's somewhere else. And you signed it can be used for anything. It can't be really copied, but they'll train neural networks on it. And they will use your proprietary data on your data that you don't want to leak. So you have to be careful on that. And you can do it several ways. What I see as new things coming around is this Stanford Alpaca, for instance. That's a model that was derived from the Llama. That's a model that Facebook open sourced. But why I want to mention this is because Llama was a big model. It took $30 million to train. And then Stanford only copied the weights in a way and did some other clever stuff and used it for, they produced Alpaca for $10,000. And now you can play with Alpaca on a laptop. So things go down very fast on the technology. They will be applicable everywhere. So we are now playing with some derivatives of Alpaca for some use cases. So far, it's more of a play. So far, it's not so stable. It hallucinates. I wouldn't recommend it for production at this point. But things are moving so fast. I started mentioning this use case in December, and everything you see here happened this year. So in 6 months, it was just an idea, can it be done? And we had internal discussions. Is it realistic or not? And my data scientist told me, no, it will never happen. We will never train these big LLMs locally. It's just too costly. And now we can do it. So we didn't believe it. And yeah, now we can do it. So just have this in mind. And that's all from me. So thank you. I have a lot of backup slides. You can freely download later. You'll get my presentation. And I'm happy to talk with you afterwards if you're interested in any more details. And I could speak hours. There are so many nuances and interesting things to talk about AI. So yeah, I hope you liked all these 3 days because I think it really opened a lot of questions and a lot of answers for you, and you need it for your business things, for your business life. Thank you.
Davor, thank you for that. I actually think the timing of your presentation is perfect because it really brings together a lot of the ideas and thoughts we've had into a very practical, this is what is happening way, and I loved it. Can you talk a bit more about fraud prevention use case?
Yeah, I mean, fraud is the obvious thing. So for spams will appear all around because now it's much easier to generate very convincing spam on email way, on generating new ads, of producing new images. And on a classified side, you will have to somehow curate it. Your value is trust, and your value is to curate everything that's fraudulent. You will use AI for that, but you will also have to use humans. And it will get complicated and costly in that area, I can assure you.
Let's explore a bit further, right? Because we've seen just how good AI is at generating these deep fakes, where you just cannot tell from real or for fake. How do you then...
On a technology level, I think it will not be able to do it, actually, in the long run, maybe now. First, there was this question, say, I will be able to generate AI. I'm not sure. Because as you saw, also in Photoshop, you can just expand an image. So there was an original image, and then you deleted something. It will be very hard. Maybe there will be some kind of digital certification of originality. We'll see. The solution is not appearing yet, but it will have to be implemented at one point.
So you're saying it's going to be very hard to differentiate fake from real?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Because I guess at the end of the day, they're just pixels on a screen.
Yeah, I mean, what's fake? If I'm writing a text and I use Grammarly for my English, is this a fake then? No, but if I use ChatGPT to add one more part of it, is this my text? Who has IP rights? It's getting complicated.
And I think the images, but I think what you're talking about is there is this sort of war game, right? Where bad actors will be going super fast.
Definitely.
And they're not going to play by any rules, and then the good actors are going to have to respond.
Yes.
They don't tend to lead, they tend to have to respond.
And I'm hoping the regulation will help. I'm not sure will a European regulation help or it will make things worse. With GDPR, it didn't help too much, just to be honest, from my point of view.
Yep. What are you, as the OG, working on now? What are you working on now? Sounds like you are always a few steps ahead. Prediction for the next 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, I mean, we're client-driven, so whoever comes with an interesting use case to us, we try to evaluate and try to attack it and solve it. That's how we do. So we are driven from the market. I would say some generative AI projects are now really ramping up. So more and more in this area. Yeah.
Okay. And finally, how has the AI buzz affected you guys as a company? Is it just creating a lot more work?
Yeah, it's interesting. Somewhere in March, I thought we'll not have anything to do. It looked like people, when the buzz came out in December and it really, everywhere, everybody was like, what do I do with this? And they didn't want to talk about older stuff that we offered. And now they are trying to catch up. Yeah, let's talk. So yeah, it's now but it's ramping up now, yeah. So we didn't ramp up from the first.
Excellent, Davor. Thank you very much. I love what you guys are doing, and it's always fascinating to have you present at these conferences.
Thank you. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you.